Great Writers Media.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with Pbody Blaque. He is the author of NYC Health Beck and Call, A State of Well-Being. In this self-help health book, the author recounts his journey of triumph over the challenges brought about by the pandemic, offering readers a unique perspective on holistic health and well-being in the face of the new normalcy. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Great Writers Media for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Pbody, thanks so much for being our guest today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
What made you think to write a book about the new normalcy and life during and after the pandemic?
Well, it started, as I was saying, during the pandemic, which is March 2020, where I became a PCA, patient care associate, that wound up robbing bodies of people who died of COVID-19. And in 2022, I wrote a book about it, as you were talking about, on Amazon called NYC Health Beck and Call, A State of Well-Being, under Pbody Blaque, which is my pen name. And my books are considered by traditional publishers. So someone in business called me and suggested I should do not just the book, but they were suggesting I should do a store promoting health as well. So I sat down, thought about it, and researched how to do it. And so since I didn't know algorithms or programming, I had to work harder to put it together. And God brought the right people to me to make it happen. And since January 5th, 2023, I not only have a book, but I also have a online health and fitness store, Fit Home, Fit Life, and the website is fithomefitlife.com.
Awesome, awesome. You were on the front lines of the pandemic, doing the worst of it, wrapping the people who died.
Yeah.
Part of you must have been scared to death that you would contract it somehow, regardless of how much, personal protective equipment you had on, or PPE. Yeah. Tell us what that was like. I mean, you were in New York City. You were in the at ground zero.
Yeah. Actually, it didn't bother me because I worked with military nurses as well as agency. By the way, military nurses were the best nurses I worked with. Sure. They thought I was from the military because we both came early to our units, and we wanted to, because I was taught by military nurses. I was never in the military, but basically we wanted to respect the dead. We weren't, a lot of people couldn't deal with wrapping bodies, so they would call me or the military nurses. It didn't bother me because it was like, I felt the service to help somebody. The fear didn't get in the way. For some reason, I was able to tune it out because it was like, what do we got to do? And it's like, somebody had to step up. So the fear went away when I saw I was helping somebody, and respecting the person's family member or whatever. But a lot of people couldn't do it, psychologically speaking, because they got too much involved in it. And I choose to stay out of it, to do whatever I needed to do and not get caught up in, the nightmares and stuff and that a lot of my colleagues went through.
It must have been tough though, even if you weren't afraid of contracting the disease, just seeing the sheer number of people who had withered and died from this disease. I mean, after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks on a ventilator, these people were wasted away to nothing.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, it wasn't, let me point out, a lot of people that I wrapped up didn't die just from COVID alone. They also had other things prior to it, like emphysema, diabetes, cancer, a lot of things that makes your immune system go, I can't do it anymore. It can't, protect your body anymore because it was so much, putting on the immune system.
Exactly. It was like overload. These people had the pre-existing conditions. Their body was fighting that. Now one more thing, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I guess that's what made you decide to focus now on well-being and a holistic approach. Tell us a little bit about your approach to staying healthy during this new normal that we live in.
Basically being as simple as possible. One of the things, there are people even in the medical field that are misinformed about health. Basically, I'm taught to go back to basics and basically just trying to, even if someone brings something to your attention, to investigate it, research it. I don't just take someone's word for it per se, because I look at the person's success record more than anything. Like, it doesn't impress me per se if you've been doing this for 35 years. What impresses me is how many people you saved during that 35 years. You know what I mean? Regardless. So from that perspective, I try to stay basic and try to, first of all, find out what I'm dealing with, because I was scared like everybody else about COVID. I didn't know anything about it. So I calmed down. At first I was scared, and then, having faith in God, and believing that, somebody's going to live and all this stuff. And I don't take medications myself. So I felt I have a bigger chance getting through it. And so in my book, I have a lot of approaches like a steam treatment, because every day when I come from work, I always do a steam treatment, which is, and basically it kills a lot of the viruses and stuff like that. And
Tell us a
basically,
little bit more about that steam treatment, how it works, how you
oh,
utilize it, and how it helps.
okay, well, it's a steam treatment. It's like, you put it in a pot of water, regular saucepan,
Mm-hmm.
and you fill it halfway. And you can also put lemons in it
Mm-hmm.
or onions to create aromatherapy, along with sea salt to create a saline solution. And you basically stand over it without burning yourself, just close enough for you to breathe in the steam. And it takes 20 minutes to do. And it's all natural and just boiling water with sea salt and either lemon, or I use lemon or onions, one of them, to create aromatherapy to open up the nasal passages.
Great, great. That's almost an old school technique. I know my
Yeah,
mom used to do that. She would get
yeah,
like a big, a stew pot, get a
yeah. And you
towel,
have
put
the
it over
towel
her
over
head.
you,
Yeah, and clear out her
and you're
sinus and
breathing.
clear out her head.
Yeah, the
Yeah, what's
vapor out
old
or
is new
whatever. Yeah.
again. The older generation, my mother was born in 1919, but that
Okay.
generation knew something that we don't, because we're too reliant on medications and
Yeah.
running to the doctor and
Yeah.
wanting a shot or a pill or a tablet or a capsule, when sometimes steam is all you need. And sometimes good food is all you need. Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about your recipe for success when it comes to certain foods that should not be combined, and that kind of thing.
Well, basically, I just believe in having organic food, um, regardless of what type of food. The more natural, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Organic just means chemical free for those who don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
just research it. If it's grown, if you can have your own garden and grow your own food, that's even better, because you know what you're eating. So basically, just researching that and learning from there, just researching. That's one good thing about the internet. You can find out everything you want there. It's just a point of asking it. To
Yep.
me, the internet is like a genie. You ask the genie what you want, and it'll give it to you. So the same with foods. The more organic, the more natural, regardless of what you eat, the better. Um, if you're vegan or vegetarian, whatever the case may be, make sure you know enough to supply the carbohydrates and the things that you need for nourishment to keep you going throughout the day.
Yep. Somebody said to me one time, never eat food that has more than 5 ingredients. And I think that's true. Like, have a piece of steak, have a piece of chicken, have a piece of salmon, but,
Right?
keep it simple, a piece of vegetable,
Yes.
a starch, all great advice. You also talk about in your book a method for quickly relieving trauma and the
Yeah.
implications and the applications, rather. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's basically, a lot of people may disagree with it, but it's basically dealing with pressure points, tapping different parts of your body, which is pressure points. I was
Mhm.
learning about that when I was learning martial arts. I was into Kung Fu, and during the breaks, they would show, my teachers, my Sifus would talk about pressure points, how
Mhm.
you can kill somebody or injure somebody, not kill somebody per se, but injure them. You can, but basically they injure them. But you can also relieve stress in those pressure points. So everyone has pressure points. And some people, they may say it's theory. Some people say it's fact. It depends on whether you believe it or not, it works. It's just a point of you being aware of your body and seeing to what degree that it helps. Because most people are not in tune with their body. So, like, say everyone has a certain amount of stress. but there's different degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we could look at the same thing, and depending upon our experiences, your stress may be lower than mine because you've been exposed to things from subconsciously. So basically, it's just tapping pressure points to relieve stress. That's all what it's about. And it's different. There's different variations. It takes like 5 minutes to do in different parts of your body, and it basically just to relieve stress.
Right. Well, Occam's razor says the simplest explanation is the best explanation.
Yes.
The simplest method is the best method as well. You're a very fit looking guy yourself. What do you do to stay so healthy and trim and fit at, I don't know how old you are. You could be 30, you could be 50. I have no
I'm
idea.
over 40. So yeah,
40, but in the middle.
Yeah. But the point is, I do a different varieties of spice of life for me. Yeah. To keep it, fun. I do all kind of things: weight training, cardiovascular, to keep the heart and lungs going, running, walking. For people, you don't have to be an extremist. You don't have to be a narcissist. You can keep it simple. Daily walks after you eat, goes a long way. I see people in their 80s and 90s are living a lot longer. The new generation don't live past 21. So it depends. Just keep it simple and have fun with it. Don't look at it as work, but find something that you have fun with and you can do it automatically. Jumping rope, there's so many things. I have an inversion table. I always try new things to make it fun and exciting. That's the whole thing, to have fun with it. When it's work, it's like when you go to work, you don't want to go, you're creating cortisol and all those other stress that does more harm than good. So try to be fun with it. Whatever your exercise or regimen is, have fun with it.
Exactly. I always say the hardest thing about going to the gym is going to the gym.
Yes.
So once you get there, it's fine. You get on the elliptical, you lift some weights, whatever it is, and you're going to feel so much better when you're done, both short-term and long-term. This is a great book written by Dwayne Mitchell, aka Pbody Blaque. It is called NYC Health Beck Call, A State of Well-Being. This is a man who has lived on the front lines of the COVID pandemic, serving people, possibly people in your family, people in your community, absolutely. And he saw the worst of it. And this is a book that'll help you the next time a pandemic hits, or a health scare hits, or a virus hits, or flu season hits, or cold season hits. We face it all. Keep this machine in tip-top shape, like Pbody Blaque does. Dwayne, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time. There's a lot to unpack in this book. It is highly recommended. There is something for everyone.
May I also point out, just for 5 seconds, I also have a store, Fit Home Fit Life, at fithomefitlife.com. For anyone that's into health, I sell 65 different products pertaining to health. So anyone want to check that out as well, be my guest, to go to fithomefitlife.com, and the store is Fit Home Fit Life.
Sounds great. fithomefitlife.com.
Yes.
We will check it out. Dwayne, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
Visit www.greatwritersmedia.com. Email us at info@greatwritersmedia.com. Call us at 877-600-5469. Subscribe now.